Ever since his introduction in Dragon Ball Z, Gohan has been deceptively powerful. Beneath his unassuming exterior was a dormant power which could be awoken during times of immense stress and anger. This latent power was so great that it allowed Gohan to surpass and fight alongside his father Goku against the universe's biggest threats. But what are the times when Gohan actually surpassed Goku? Well, in this video, I'm going to discuss that. Make sure to subscribe to this channel and enable notifications so you can see all of my content right away when it comes out. So to begin this video, we first have to talk about Gohan's hidden power, since it plays a huge role throughout the story. Being a Saiyan-human hybrid, Gohan was born with an even greater potential than his father. However, due to his lack of training, this power remained untapped and built up within him. If we're going by reserves alone, then Gohan surpassed Goku sometime during the 5-year gap between the 23rd tournament and the arrival of Raditz. However, for the purposes of this video, I think it makes sense to only count what Gohan was capable of using at the time, be it through training, rage, or the occasional plot device. So let's begin with the first time that Gohan surpassed Goku, which was during the fight between Goku, Piccolo, and Raditz. Now, when Raditz first arrived on Earth and realized that Goku had not completed his mission, he was irate. This led to him beating down his brother and kidnapping Gohan. That's when Piccolo arrived, and together the two warriors faced off against the evil Saiyan. Despite their combined power, Raditz proved too powerful and had them beaten. This is when Gohan, hearing his father's anguish, went into a blind rage, breaking free from Raditz's space pod and headbutting him with a power level surpassing his own. This was enough to weaken Raditz, allowing Goku to grab him, and Piccolo to kill them both with his Makanko Sappo, accomplishing more in one attack than most characters have in the series. Way to go, Piccolo. After this, Gohan trained with Piccolo for a year in preparation for the Saiyan's arrival. Meanwhile, Goku trained in the afterlife with King Kai, increasing his power many times and surpassing Gohan's enraged levels. He also achieved the technique known as the Kaioken, which further widened the gap. However, during the climactic fight against Vegeta, Gohan utilized a power-up of his own, with the Ozaru form, increasing his power by 10 times to over 20,000, which far surpassed Goku's base power. Now, I'm aware that many fans don't like to factor in the Kaioken, due to it being a technique rather than a biological change like the Ozaru or Super Saiyan forms, so for the purposes of this video, I'll be mostly leaving it out. In this case, we could just say that Gohan briefly surpassed Goku as an Ozaru, at least until his tail was cut off. I doubt Vegeta would question this either, considering that he got flattened right after. Moving on to the Frieza arc, Gohan, Krillin, and Bulma traveled to Namek to wish back the dead Z-Fighters and Kami. On the planet, Gohan engaged in combat with Frieza's forces, defeating some and fleeing from others. It was clear that Gohan was at a disadvantage against Frieza's elite warriors. That was until he had his potential unlocked by the Namekian Grand Elder, Guru, which increased his power to over 14,000. Once again surpassing Goku's prior levels without the Kaioken. It only continued to rise from there. During much of this conflict, Goku was healing from his injuries on Earth. After finally receiving the Senzu beans, Goku traveled to Namek in a ship that Dr. Brief built for him. On the way, Goku trained under 100 times gravity. During this training, he exploited his natural ability of Zenkais, and once again leaped ahead of his son, far surpassing him with a power level of 90,000 in his base. He also achieved greater mastery of Kaioken, which allowed him to increase his power by up to 10 times. Goku used this power to dominate the Ginyu Force up until Captain Ginyu, who he was also far stronger than. However, after some body-swapping shenanigans and a beatdown from Vegeta, Goku was once again out of commission and placed into the healing chamber to recover. After healing from his fight against Recoome, Gohan received a Zenkai which increased his base power significantly to where it was even greater than Goku's base form. This is when he and his allies came face to face with Frieza, the terrifying tyrant of the universe, with a power level far beyond anything that they had seen before. Upon transforming into his second form, which had a power level of over 1 million, our protagonists were outmatched. This is when Gohan's rage came in handy, as he exploded with power and beat down Frieza. This means that Gohan's power had jumped to being even greater than Goku's while using Kaioken times 10. But as is the case with Rage Boost, that strength didn't last, as Frieza recovered and took him down. Following a fight against Piccolo, Frieza transformed yet again, and further multiplied his power. All seemed hopeless, but thanks to Dende, Gohan was healed and received yet another large Zenkai boost. With his next Rage Boost, he was able to overpower Frieza's third form. This propelled Frieza to transform into his final form, which is actually his base form, as I explained in my video, What is Frieza's Base Form? Now, as an aside here, Goku was healing at the time, and along with this, his power was increasing. But Toriyama didn't exactly draw a meter to show his strength every time he popped up on screen. So I think it makes sense to say that Gohan was stronger up until Goku emerged from the chamber. At that point, Goku reached a base power level of 3 million, which surpassed all but Frieza's final form. During his fight against Frieza, Goku achieved the legendary form of Super Saiyan. This added a 50 times multiplier on top of his base form. As a result, Gohan was left even further behind in the dust. Goku's power remained unchallenged for the nearly 2 years that he was on Yardrat before his return to the Earth, and then during most of the 3 years leading up to the coming of the androids, as during his own training, Vegeta surpassed him. But despite their intense training, when Androids 17 and 18 were released, it became apparent that Goku and the others were completely outmatched. This was only compounded when Cell revealed himself and began absorbing cities full of people. This led to Goku having a revelation, that they could surpass the Super Saiyan Wall, and they would use the ultimate training method at the time, the Hyperbolic Time Chamber, to do so. Vegeta and Trunks went inside the room first, and then Goku entered the room with Gohan. Once inside, he told his son his true intentions, for Gohan to become a Super Saiyan and surpass him. Goku was more aware of the depths of Gohan's energy than anyone else, especially Gohan himself. So Goku taught his son to transform and trained alongside him. Together, their power grew many times, as they pushed each other to their absolute limits time and time again, working closely together, unlike Vegeta and his son. They also used this training to master the Super Saiyan form, removing the enraged mental state and reducing the stamina usage of the form to the minimum. This also allowed them to keep most of the energy that they would expend when transforming, so that they could fight for longer and reach the full potential of the form. It was during this training that Gohan once again surpassed Goku as a Super Saiyan. However, it didn't stop there, as during Gohan's fight against Perfect Cell, he achieved yet another form. This was the perfect blend of speed and power, and the next evolution of Super Saiyan, known as Super Saiyan 2. Which added an extra 2 times multiplier on top of the previous form. Additionally, Gohan was able to tap into his full potential at will, which made him even stronger. He proved this by defeating Cell at full power, the same Cell who was heavily suppressed against Goku at his 100%. Now, a lot of people seem to believe that Goku is holding back here or that he could have won, but this is simply not true. Goku stated that he was using 100% of his power against Cell. Additionally, Cell knew of Goku's techniques, so he couldn't have used the Spirit Bomb to win. The Kaioken was also out of the question, since Goku couldn't use it in his Super Saiyan form, which is also why it never happened, aside from his filler fight against Pikkon. Many people seem to miss the entire point here, which is that Goku couldn't defeat Cell. Even if he went back in the chamber for another day, he realized Gohan's potential was greater than his own. That's why Goku wanted him to defeat Cell. Goku would sacrifice himself to save the Earth from Cell's explosion, and in the end, Gohan defeated him with a Kamehameha. During the following 7 years after the defeat of Cell, Gohan stopped training, which caused his power to diminish. Goku, on the other hand, went to the afterlife with King Kai, where he trained non-stop with a spiritual body, one with far less limits. This allowed Goku to surpass Gohan and achieve the form of Super Saiyan 3. This continued through the Buu Saga, until Gohan began his training with the Z-Sword, During that training, the Z-Sword broke, releasing the old Supreme Kai from his imprisonment. It was at this point that the old Kai gave Gohan a reward, in the form of unlocking his latent potential, but this time even better than what happened with Guru. Gohan's full power soared past everyone's expectations, and allowed him to far surpass Goku even as a Super Saiyan 3, as well as Gotenks and Super Buu. At this point, if Gohan wanted to, he could have one-shot Goku at full power, even easier than how he dominated Cell and Super Buu. However, this power-up wouldn't make much of a difference in the long term, as Gohan was absorbed by Buu and lost any real relevance he had in the franchise. Moving on to Dragon Ball GT, Gohan would stop training and lose his ultimate state. Meanwhile, Goku's power would increase to where he was stronger than his son in his base form alone. And while Gohan trained and once again donned his ultimate ki in the Shadow Dragon saga, he was still no match for Super Saiyan 4. The same thing happened in Dragon Ball Super, as it's implied that Gohan was weaker than Goku and Vegeta in Battle of Gods, which seems like a pretty big scaling inconsistency to me. But that's just Toei writing for you. Goku has to be stronger, because money. Anyway, Gohan would remain weaker than his father for practically the entire series. He would start training with Piccolo, only to quit again, rinse, repeat. Let's be honest, Dragon Ball Super flip-flopped on Gohan and his power more than Mitt Romney on a beach vacation. However, there is one point where Gohan could potentially claim some superiority over Goku, and that is right before the Tournament of Power, as Gohan once again achieved his ultimate form and pushed his power to new heights far beyond what he'd seen before. Gohan would use this newfound power to challenge Goku, pushing him from Super Saiyan 2 all the way to Super Saiyan Blue. But even then, Gohan was able to trade blows with him. Finally, Goku used his Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken, which defeated Gohan in a final clash. But even then, Gohan was able to throw a final punch before falling unconscious. Now, many people believe that Goku only used his full power here because Gohan asked him to, but that's yet another misconception. The course of the fight shows a clear progression as Gohan exerted more power, forcing Goku to get serious and go beyond his normal 100% of Super Saiyan Blue. As a result, it's possible to conclude that Gohan surpassed his father as a regular Super Saiyan Blue here. I go a lot more in depth on this topic in my video, Gohan's Full Power Explained. While there is some ambiguity, I don't think it's too hard to believe that the guy who routinely gets massive power-ups out of nowhere would get one in the arc where everyone else did. I'm looking at you, Roshi in 17. But regardless of where you'd place Ultimate Gohan, Goku is undoubtedly the stronger man when the Tournament of Power concluded, as during the tournament, Goku went beyond his limits and unleashed his own hidden power, through the use of Ultra Instinct. This propelled him past Jiren, and even Gods of Destruction. Now, Goku lost this ability after the Tournament of Power, but the increase in his other forms still remained. And after his battle against Broly, a fight Gohan chose to sit out despite it happening on his own planet, the gap only increased. And it's no doubt going to increase even further in the Moro arc. At this point, Gohan's path moving forward is uncertain. Will he continue training in the future and increase in power, or will the writers fall back into the same pitfalls they always do, and have him give up on martial arts or not fight because of excuses? Will Gohan ever surpass Goku again? While looking back at the other times he did, I think it's certainly possible. Let's be honest, Gohan is always one plot-induced power-up away from being the strongest character, so we'll have to see if Toriyama remembers he exists long enough to give him one. Alright guys, this has been Every Time Gohan Surpassed Goku. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, as well as enabling notifications, so that you can see all of my videos and community posts right away when they come out. And make sure to stick around, because there's a lot more to come in the future.
Yeah, and you better subscribe.